Hello and welcome to another episode of Hessy and Maven. I'm Justin.
And I'm a bad case of the stripes.
What?
That's my costume.
A bad case of the stripes? Please elaborate.
A Bad Case of Stripes by David Shannon. It is a popular children's book.
You know what? That's very interesting, and I have a million questions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think... No, question number one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read this book?
Nope.
No further questions, Your Honor.
The case rests.
I moved to strike.
You should have been Rainbow Fish.
I should have been Rainbow Fish.
Or Chicka Chicka Boom Boom.
Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. Hungry Caterpillar.
Mm-hmm. Brown Bear.
Oh, Brown Bear's good.
Yeah.
Brown Bear's good. All the colors.
Yeah.
Is it Dr. Seuss?
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish is Dr. Seuss.
Certainly Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Are you sure the Brown Bear one isn't
I'm pretty sure.
Dr. Seuss? I think we have it. I think I have it somewhere. Do you know what book is amazing?
What?
Oh, I wish I could remember the title and everything now. Oh, man. That book that Andrew got me. The one about... it's about being different, but it's in the context of the main character being, like, gigantic.
Is it the one where the little bird thinks everyone is his mom?
No.
Oh, the one downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. It's just a very tall book.
Yeah, it's beautifully illustrated. It's a cute little children's story about being different and finding camaraderie and accepting yourself for who you are, even though you're different.
What a swell guy.
Andrew? Mm-hmm. He really is. He
would never come down with a case of the stripes.
Never.
No.
Never. He's a polka dot man.
Yeah.
If I've ever met one.
Mm-hmm.
And I have. I've met several in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Steven, polka dot man.
Yeah.
Rob Marengo, polka dots. Believe it or not.
Is it something in their eyes?
It's something in their hearts.
Okay.
Great. I love, this is so typical Raven to immerse herself in something that she doesn't fully understand.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I was genuinely expecting my first question and only question to be an easy yes. Have you read the book? No. What? But you picked it for Halloween?
Yeah.
All right.
I saw somebody be it for Halloween, and I thought that's an excellent Halloween costume.
That's an excellent, easy, simple face paint for you to do.
Yeah.
Great. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to just put on my varsity Leatherman jacket from high school. That's right. Probably can't see from behind the laptop, but captain of the tennis team, no big deal.
Your why can't I think of his name?
I don't know.
Who
are you trying to
I want to say Kaminsky.
My friend Jeff Kaminsky, because he didn't play tennis.
No,
and we were friends though, I guess.
Not John Travolta. Friend of John Travolta.
Kinnicky. Yeah. I got a hickey from Kinnicky.
You're Kinnicky.
I'm Kinnicky?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Speaking of...
Grease is so good.
Speaking of Grease, speaking of Kinnicky, in this episode, we are going to be talking about two movies that we recently saw. One that I made Raven watch and one that she made me watch. I had never seen this movie. Raven had never seen the movie that I had her watch. And we're going to do quick reviews, synopsis, the whole nine.
Yeah.
And
this is our final Halloween episodes. We're just ending it with some Halloween-y movies that we love.
Yeah, and that they were great. I thought they were really fun. Raven knocked it out of the park. A rare W from Raven because it was... I'm just kidding.
I'll take it.
All the movies that you've shown me so far have been really good, with the exception of... I didn't love that Kristen Bell, Dak Shepard movie, to be honest, but like it is what it is.
I understand.
It was just like everyone. Yeah, it was not my. It's like a car centric rom com, and like I hate cars. Like I just hate cars.
That's
so like
fair.
if it were, it could have been about bicycles, and he was like, "I'm a getaway bicycle driver," and I would have liked it more.
Have you seen Baby Driver?
No.
Oh, that's another car centric movie that I also enjoy.
It is car centric. I think I could get past it on that one because I think the music and the
music is good, and there's a lot of good actors.
That too.
Yeah.
And it's not rom-com. So it has a different vibe to it.
Yeah, there is a romantic storyline, but it's not like centric to the story.
For sure. I also, I'm a big fan of John Hamm, and seeing him with that interesting haircut, which 99% of men is just like screaming white supremacy. Like it's just like, where were you on January 6th? You know what I mean? Like,
I imagine he had fun in that movie because I feel like the character he played is like very different from most of the other characters he plays. John Hamm. Yeah.
I think he switches. I've seen him do a bunch of different things. I mean, like I've seen a lot of clips of Mad Men. It's a show that I haven't watched.
Yeah,
and,
me either.
It's a hard time period for me to like watch an entire series in. Like, I get the whole like, oh, but it's set in the 50s, so you have to get used to or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever fucking. I think it is the 50s and 60s because I think Vietnam is going on. But like, I can't. Like, there's a movie that like I think it was nominated for Oscars, and it was like it's Brad Pitt and Michael Fassbender. That movie 12 Years a Slave. I've heard that it is an incredible movie. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
And it like,
I get it.
Call it what you want. Number one, to watch a hardcore drama, I feel like you really have to be in the right mood. And then to watch a hardcore drama that centers around saying the N-word a lot by white actors, and then also like slavery and the whole nine. It's just like, I can gravitate towards Brad Pitt's character because at least he's like, hey, these are people, not property. Like, you understand. Like, so at least there's a character that you can kind of look at and be like, thank God not all people believed in slavery. But at the same time, it's just like, I still just cannot do it. I am sorry.
No, I totally get that.
Like, a lot of times I use television and movies as a form of escape. So sometimes I don't want to revisit the darkest parts of our history and stuff like that. And it's like, trust me, I'm well aware of how shitty things.
That's why I don't watch movies or TV shows that don't have happy endings.
Yeah.
I will look up the ending to find out if it's happy or not.
No, I know that is a common thing that you do. But anyway, so to give you a little sneak peek so you know what we're getting into, Raven had me watch Practical Magic with Sandy Bullock, Nicole Kidman, and others.
It's an excellent movie that I resisted for a long time because really Tony wanted me to watch it, and when people want me to watch stuff, I never want to watch it. But it is phenomenal. It's an excellent late 90s movie. It's like such a cozy, I don't know, it's excellent. It gives me Mystic Pizza energy. Like it's like cozy, female centered.
Immediately.
It looks so heavy.
It's so heavy.
It's like 1,000 pounds.
I didn't realize how heavy it was because it's been how long
collecting
have I been
dust.
outside of? Do me a favor, pull on that sleeve.
Am I helping?
I don't know if you're helping or hurting. Grab that part. Okay. Perfect. Now we're good. Oh my god, dude! My whole body temperature just went down 15 degrees.
Yeah. I used to steal that from you in middle school on cold winter days because all of the cool kids wore their varsity jackets and I did not participate in anything physical. So I did not earn a varsity jacket.
Oh,
so I would take yours.
I had a friend who, Danielle Hawley, she had
band?
She had a marching band one.
That's physical.
You know what? You're right. You're absolutely right.
Anyway.
I was the only person in all of my high school that had on the back, like the main sport was tennis. Everyone else had some other sport on the back and then tennis on one of the sleeves.
Oh.
But I was the only one, at least who was like currently going.
Yeah.
Like when I was a sophomore and I made varsity, there was a senior who had that, but like for the most part, it was just me.
Why?
Why? Everyone else just played other sports and they were more proud of those sports than tennis, but tennis was my number one.
So people who played tennis and had the varsity jacket didn't want the big tennis thing on the rack?
Yeah, no, they wanted... Either they made varsity on those other teams first, or they would rather have soccer or track or basketball or whatever other sport they played. But not me. All I had was tennis, and I was good at tennis.
I was not.
And then senior year started hating tennis a little bit just because of how mental the game is. And I was in singles and just like playing by yourself, playing the best of every school was really demoralizing because you're the best at your school and that's fine and everything, but like when you kind of realize you're like, oh, everyone at my school is not that good, so me being the best of the not that good people doesn't mean anything. Every other school is better. Like I could have been versing the third best person from every school and still it would have been like close. But I wasn't. I was versing the best of every school. So it was just like so demoralizing and stuff, but like it is what it is. Nothing you can do. That's tennis.
My accolades were the lunchroom Uno championship. I did win that, and they made a little pretend newspaper with my first place winning announcement that Daddy put on the fridge. And I believe I was in mock trial and I played the bailiff.
You were in mock trial and you played the bailiff. Yeah,
Daddy was proud of that too. There was a photo hanging on the stairs at one point.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Those are my accolades. For you. I did not have any varsity jackets.
But
I was a bailiff.
The only time I ever did like a mock trial or anything like that was in Muller's class. I think I'm almost positive it was either Muller or Mrs. Palmer. I can't remember. It's whenever we read Of Mice and Men.
Lenny.
Yeah, that is a character's name. Do you remember
George?
Do you remember the other character's name?
Mouse.
Do you remember critical? Do you remember? Please stop. Do you remember if that was Muller? We had to do a mock trial of like if you were gonna charge George with a crime.
I didn't do that with Dr. Muller.
For spoiler alerts, he kills Lenny.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it's Miss Palmer or Miss Muller, but either way, half the class or like a third of the class picked defense and one picked offense, and then or prosecution or whatever, and then a group of us were judges, and I was the lead judge, and it really came down to I felt bad, but it was really just the prosecution picked a dumb charge. Like they went for like first degree murder, and it was like this is like manslaughter or like third degree murder at best, because there isn't like malice in it. It's a mercy killing, so you can still like technically call it murder, but first degree murder, it was like
yeah.
And they didn't have enough evidence for that, but it's a whole
do you
thing.
know that Taylor Shabiznes,
oh god, she
was totally charged with first degree murder, life in prison forever, because the courts, I don't know if it's courts plural, like all courts, or just her court, but they did not agree that her defense of like pleading innocent by reason of insanity because of meth usage, they don't believe that type of insanity counts, because it's not like you're born with this insanity. It's like you've messed up your brain because of meth.
Yeah, that's
so
interesting.
They charged her with like the full,
That's really interesting. Yeah, it gets into a lot of ethical gray areas that
it's crazy.
We don't need to explore, but it is interesting. Maybe down the line. Yeah, because her last name is wild. Yeah, maybe down the line, because we're going to be, once we get into November and December and stuff like that, we're going to be opening up our episodes to other TV and film that aren't Halloween centric. And as much as I love Halloween, it's going to be my birthday when this episode comes out.
Birthday.
Also, like, looking forward to moving on to different topics. Like low key, you know what
and
I mean?
I'll have
like 5 episodes of Halloween is a lot.
November is my favorite month of all time. I'm starting the month by going on vacation. I'm going to Forks, Washington for 4 days to have a twilight vacation, to see all of the locations from the film and take photos and just have a wonderful twilighty time.
I think that's awesome. I think you're going to have a great time.
I am so excited. Yeah. I will hopefully go to Port Angeles, where they go prom dress shopping in the first movie. And I will hopefully get a little tattoo, because I know of a tattoo parlor that I followed there on Instagram for many years.
You get a tattoo there? Dude, I want to get a tattoo so bad.
Yeah.
I want to get a tattoo so bad.
We should have gone to get Halloween Flash.
We should have. I mean, I just need to start getting more tattoos.
Yeah.
I've given up on trying to save up for sleeves and stuff, and now I'm just like, I think I'm gonna do that thing where people get like black and gray and get like a bunch of smaller tattoos, but it kind of like makes a sleeve. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'll look up to see if anyone's doing it on Halloween. If you want to go, I'll take you.
I'm down. I'll get something immediately.
But yeah, and I'm gonna see the Hoh Rainforest, which I believe is the only rainforest in the continental United States.
Dope.
Which I'm pretty excited about, and see the Pacific Ocean, which I thought was going to be my first time seeing the Pacific Ocean, and then remember that I went to Hawaii.
True. Yeah, it's kind of smack dab.
But this is my first time seeing like the rocky Pacific coast.
Oh yeah, totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
That's
I'm gonna
really
go
cool,
to La Push.
That'll be fun. La Push.
La Push.
La Push.
Yeah, it's a beach in the Quileute, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Native American reservation. It's the Native American that Jacob is in the movies.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the beach is located on the reservation, so I'm going to go there.
Very cool.
I'm very excited.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'll talk all about it when I return.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, before I get sidetracked, because that spurred on like 6 thoughts in my head because of my ADHD just being like, tell them about that one clip you saw of Taylor Lautner talking about this. Tell them about that one time you did this Rocky Coast thing. And it's just like, nope, we got to move on. So first, let's get into some more Halloween movie trivia.
Okay.
So we both picked Halloween movies for each other to watch. These are not them because I'm not going to find a million things of trivia all about these 2 movies, which, by the way, I mentioned the movie that you made me watch. No mention of the movie I watched.
He picked Hubie Halloween, which is a goofy Adam Sandler Halloween movie from 2020.
Yes.
It's
on Netflix. It's just like surprisingly cute and good, and like
it was
wholesome.
cute.
Like it really is.
And
just
I found
like
a lot of
silly
interesting facts
cute.
that make the movie even cuter when you learn. I'll talk about them.
Yeah, I did like a lot of things. I'm curious to see what your facts are, and I don't want to spoil them, so I won't say anything until we talk about it. But okay, so some trivia. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Okay. Question number 1. What is the name of Gomez and Morticia's mustachioed baby in the Addams Family Values in 1993? Is it A, Pugsley, B, Plutarch, or 3, Pubert? Bum, 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 bum. She's thinking.
This is hard because I know there's a Pugsley Addams.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's the mustachioed baby. Is it Pubert?
Ding, ding, ding. Correct. It is Pubert.
It's unfortunate.
It's great. It is silly, but I'm into it.
Okay.
All right. Question number 2. This one's going to be easy for people who are a fan of horror movies and stuff, but for Raven, I'm curious to see where she's at with this. Because this is like something that's sort of common now. I don't need to preface all this.
Okay.
Let's just get into it. Question number 2. Which actress made her film debut in Halloween 1978? Is it A, Jamie Lee Curtis, B, Michelle Pfeiffer, or C, Jodie Foster? Bum, 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 bum.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Bingo. It absolutely is Jamie Lee Curtis. I was just curious.
I know that she is famous for that franchise and for a lot of other things, but I know that she has been in that franchise like since she's been alive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's crazy seeing her.
I'll never see any of them.
So young. It looks so crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? She's
like
always had like the short old lady hair. Like her hair's always been like upwards up here. When I saw her in something where she was very young and she's like a aerobics instructor or something.
Oh God, yeah.
And she has that hair. It's like up to her, above her ears.
Yeah, for sure.
She was never a long hair girly, from what I could tell.
Well, in the original Halloween, she is.
She has long hair? Oh.
Yeah, if you really quickly look at my screen. Pop up.
Oh, interesting. She looks like the Crypt Keeper in that photo.
She's certainly in the older one. You mean?
In the I don't know how to describe it.
A young Jamie Lee Curtis
looks like the Crypt Keeper.
Crypt Keeper.
Yes.
Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm so sorry. What did you say?
Activia.
Activia? Okay. You are all over the place today, dude. I'm just like saying things and you're just saying words that are related. Like, what?
Can you go on to the next question?
Okay, question number 3. Who voiced Emily in the 2005 film Corpse Bride? Is it A, Winona Ryder, B, Helena Bonham Carter, or C, Anne Hathaway? Bum, 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 bum.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Wrong.
It's the first one.
It's Winona Ryder. I wanted to put that one in there because I know you like that movie.
I do love that movie.
Oh, boy. Okay. Question number 4. What does the ghostly trio in Casper, 1995, refer to humans as? Is it A, fleshies, B, earthlings, or C, terrains? Dun, 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 dun.
Is it A?
It is A, fleshies.
I've never seen Casper. I don't know why. This is like one of the cute family Halloween movies that I've just never seen. I would like to see it eventually. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Sorry, there's 1,000 motorcycles going by, or at least I don't know if you hear them at night when people are like drag racing on Route 37. Where are the police?
No, I sleep like a boulder.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A boulder. Yes. Very good. I'm going to dip into two more questions really quickly.
Okay.
They're both Halloween questions.
Okay.
Except the first one is also a Shakespeare question. Get ready.
Great.
Question number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Which Shakespeare play features the double, double, toil and trouble rhyme? Is it A, Othello, B, Macbeth, or C, Hamlet? Bum, 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 bum.
Is it Macbeth?
It frickin' is Macbeth. Okay. Well done.
Thank you.
And another fun one. What root vegetable was traditionally used to carve jack-o'-lanterns? Excuse me. Is it A, turnip, B, jicama, or C, sweet potato? Bum, 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 bum.
Sweet potato?
Wrong.
What is it?
Turnip.
Turnip. I've had jicama fries before.
I've had jicama a couple of times. Yeah, it's really good. It's
yeah.
crunchy. Yeah, jicama is good. I've had yucca fries.
I've had those too.
Yucca.
I've actually made those. One time in Orlando, I bought yucca.
It's big.
It's
fibrous.
Publix. Yeah. And I made french fries out of it.
Kind of
yeah. That's when I was afraid that I was having a heart attack every day.
Oh, no.
Yeah. When the pandemic first started.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have to go into the crevasse.
The crevasse of memories. I loved the pandemic. I loved quarantine. I gotta be honest.
Did you quarantine with Kate?
All right. It was okay, I guess.
Okay. Is that where you quarantined?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the apartment and everything. Just me and Kate, my roommate, one of my really good friends, and she had to work. She was like essential personnel. She like takes care of like different people with all different kinds of special needs or circumstances that need somebody to come and check up on them and help them get jobs and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Almost like a social worker, but not quite a social worker. And then I worked at a swim school, so it was like absolutely not essential in the sense of we can't have a bunch of kids in pools. You can't wear a mask in a pool, so it's like a whole thing. And I was getting paid like almost twice what I normally would on a.
I did make a lot of money during.
It was just like insane. But yeah, there's some trivia for us. I hope you enjoy.
Very good.
Thank you. All right, so let's get into it.
Do you want me to start? Because I feel like you've been talking.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Hubie Halloween.
So, This movie really surprised me that you chose this.
I know. That's what I was telling you. This movie. So the reason I watched this movie during quarantine, actually, because it came out in 2020. It's explicitly. I mean, it's got Halloween in the title. Mm-hmm. It's very Halloween centric. I genuinely went into it being like, oh, this is just another Adam Sandler crap movie, money grab. Like he made a weird
Jack and Jill.
He made a dumb partnership with Netflix to make 12 of the worst movies that no one will ever see.
Yeah.
And he's making bank, but it's the dumbest things I've ever seen. And then I saw it because I think we had kind of run out of other things to watch. So it was just like something we put on in the living room. And then Kate and I both being like very pleasantly surprised. We were just being like, that was so cute.
Yeah.
That was a cute movie. Like that was nice. I liked it.
It was cute. I have a couple movies like that. Have you ever heard of the movie Mute with Alexander Skarsgård? And it's like takes place in a very cyberpunk-esque. Paul Rudd is in it. You should look it up. But it's one of those things that during quarantine when I had nothing to watch and I put it on and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't even like saying the word Hubie. Okay, but this is the plot. According to IMDb, it says, despite his devotion to his hometown of Salem and its Halloween celebration, Hubie Dubois is a figure of mockery for kids and adults alike. But this year, something is going bump in the night and it's up to Hubie to save Halloween. It's one of those movies, those Adam Sandler movies that I guess he partakes in a lot. Where like every actor is famous, like Grown Ups, like where all his like main group of actor friends like shows up at some point, like
pretty much,
Kevin James, Rob Schneider, who I can't stand. That's a sidebar. I'm just gonna say that
I hate it. I hate him. I was very happy that his role was so small.
It was very small, yeah.
I can't stand him.
Maya Rudolph, Tim Meadows, Michael Chiklis, who I believe is from Fantastic Four. He's like the Boulder guy.
Oh yeah, he plays a priest in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognized him. June Squibb, the mother, Adam Sandler's mother.
Oh yeah.
She is famous, I think, for being in a lot of comedy movies these days. Because she's cute and small and round and very old.
Yes.
Kenan Thompson. Ben Stiller makes a small appearance.
Oh, I hit that appearance too. Have you ever seen Happy Gilmore?
Yes. Where he's the like, orderly.
The nursing home. Like the old lady's like, but my fingers hurt. Well, your back's gonna hurt now because you just pulled landscaping duty, Grandma. So he's playing the same character.
Okay, I had not put that together, but yeah.
So it was like a callback to that.
Yeah.
Which is why
That's why I went when the movie first started, because I saw Happy Gilmore Productions or whatever, and I was happy. Yeah, and I was like, this is just whatever this is going to be Happy Gilmore, and I didn't love Happy Gilmore. I think my biggest gripe with Happy Gilmore and my biggest gripe with this movie is the voice that Adam Sandler puts on. I don't like it. It feels very much like I'm mentally challenged and this is my mentally challenged voice.
Okay.
So it's not like I take the whole movie as he's making fun of mentally challenged people. That's not how I took it. But I don't like the voice. It's painful to listen to for 2 hours.
Yeah. Like, no, I get where you're coming from.
You know what I mean? It's like if I did the whole rest of this podcast with a lisp and you'd be like, this is super annoying. Can you talk normal?
No, I hear you.
But
I think they do I get what you're saying, yeah, because he's kind of like a social outcast and a little silly and like says some dumb things, socially awkward, has all these like different tropes, and then the voice doesn't help on top of all of that kind of stuff. But he does he says smart things, and he is smart in a million different ways, and like is very sweet, and so I think it kind of makes up for it. But I get what you're saying. In Happy Gilmore, I'll say this just in case people get in the comments. Happy Gilmore, he doesn't really do a voice. Billy Madison, he does a voice.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of then.
He's like the grown adult going to school again. He has to go through kindergarten all the way up. He does a little bit of a voice.
Yeah.
Stop looking at me, swear.
Yeah. Yes.
But in Happy Gilmore, he doesn't really do a voice.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I totally get what you're saying.
I confuse those two movies all the time, but yes.
That's fine. That's why his production company is called Happy Madison. It's Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
So it's not just me then.
Yeah.
And also my arch nemesis makes an appearance.
Shaquille O'Neal.
God, he walked in the room and I saw him and I was like, ugh. Please.
Oh my God. The woman, do you have the whole cast up?
Yeah.
The woman who plays his wife in that, Shaquille O'Neal's wife, I mean.
Yeah.
I love her.
What is she from?
Could not flip and tell you. Here's what I know her from.
Mm-hmm.
She's on a couple episodes of Actually.
Oh.
On dropout.tv,
That's
the
random.
only streaming service I will actively throw all of my support to. It is so good. If you don't have dropout.tv, they have amazing deals going on all the time. If you're into D&D, if you're into just comedy, it's so good. But anyway, she's often on like episodes of Actually, and she makes me laugh so hard. She's so funny. She just seems like somebody I would be like friends with.
Yeah.
Like, she just seems cool.
Yeah. She was cute in the movie.
So it was funny that she came in. I was like, oh.
The movie also features Steve Buscemi and Ray Liotta. And Ray Liotta, I don't know from anything except for a Friends episode where Rachel and Monica are talking and Monica is trying to describe what the man looks like. And Rachel goes, he looks like a non-threatening Ray Liotta. And Monica goes, yes. That's all I know Ray Liotta from.
He's in Goodfellas is the big one.
Oh.
He's in a million movies, but Goodfellas is the big one.
Well, good
and
for
I know
Ray Liotta.
We can do a whole episode on mob movies. I know you're a fan.
I want to be a fan. I need to watch more.
Okay.
Because I haven't watched any, I think, like, drama mob movies. I really want to watch the one with the actor who plays the twins. And they're both him.
Oh, yes. Yes. It's Tom Hardy.
Yes.
And he plays, it's called Legend.
I really want to watch that.
It's really, really good. That one's really interesting too because it has its moments where it dips into the gang side of things, but it also has so much other stuff going on. It has a lot of like story about family, a lot of story about romance, and like one of the brothers and his like partner and everything. Like there's so much other things going on as opposed to it being like straight up mobster lifestyle.
Yeah. I want to watch that. I want to watch the one with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yes. I cannot think of the name of it right now. The Gentleman or something like that. But that one is
I want to watch that.
So good. We've all seen that scene, the clip, the
it's
clip
the
on the
best
thing.
scene.
I am not personal about the money. I'm not emotional about the money. But I am emotional when someone puts their hands on my wife.
My wife! Yeah, it's so good.
And he's like, now you're going to get in the freezer. I demand my pound of flesh, which is that
so scary.
Locks in Shakespeare moments for me because I'm so obsessed with Merchant of Venice.
Yes. I know exactly
it's like a Shylockian thing. It's not a big deal. It's like one character does something bad and the other character says, I demand my pound of flesh. And it's the same idea of being like, no, literally. It's not a figure of speech. Yeah. Literally, you need to cut off a pound of flesh and that's how you'll repay me.
Yeah.
And the whole court being like, what?
Would you just chop your hand off or your foot? But then like it legally being like, technically, legally, we have old school laws. Like that's how it works. And then, all this stuff happens. Okay. I don't know how that would work, but let me go through some of the notes that I took. The first thing I thought of was there's a trope throughout the movie where you hear the voice of a radio, like the radio announcer or host or whatever.
Yeah. Like a local radio station.
And that reminded me of Valentine's Day. That movie, they do that in Valentine's Day. They're like throughout the movie is you hear little.
It's not like a narrator, but it's kind of like this voice that picks in through the whole thing. Yeah.
Which I think is cute. It's a cute way to have a narrator without having a narrator.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
For me, and this is a movie you've definitely never seen, but you may have heard of. It brings me back to The Warriors. There's a movie called The Warriors where it takes place in New York City, and there's a bunch of like rival street gangs and stuff, and they go to a big meeting in the very beginning of the movie where all these rival gangs, there's like a truce, we're all gonna meet and we're gonna talk, and they meet, and then this one guy who's kind of like the leader of leaders, he's like Zeus, he's like the god of gods, and he's like the head of everyone. and he gets killed. And the gang called the Warriors gets blamed for it, even though they didn't do it. So then the whole movie is the Warriors trying to get all the way back to their turf, which is Coney Island. And along the way, shit happens. But throughout the whole thing, there's this jazzy, it's very like Hubie Halloween. There's this jazzy woman's voice being like, check it out, cool cats. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
The Warriors are on the 35th
yeah.
train. And you're like, dang, it's just like so cool. I love that, but it's exactly like that.
Can I throw in a sidebar? Do we have time?
We have time.
Okay. I'll try to make it quick, but have you seen what you're just saying reminded me of it. Have you seen the clip of Chris DiStefano talking about the time that he got kicked out of school? He got expelled from his school.
Yeah, I have.
And what his dad did when he went in.
And his dad was like, Chrissy, lock the door.
Yeah, because his dad goes in and he's like, because he calls him and he's like, Dad, I got expelled. I hit somebody over the head with a chair. And his dad's like, no, you didn't get expelled. And he's like, no, like I did. And his dad goes, no, there's no evidence. I'll be right there. And he like goes in and goes right past the secretary, goes right into the room where the principal is. And the principal's like, hello, like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm Chris's dad. Like, we need to talk. And the principal's like, well, I'm on the phone right now. Like, you need to go outside and wait. And his dad leans over and hits the dial thing and is like, look at that. Now you're not on the phone. So listen, we have to talk.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
And then he locks the door and he's like, this is going to go one of two ways. Like, well, no, because first he's like, listen, you can't do this. Don't expel my son. Suspend him, whatever you got to do, but don't expel him. And then he says something. He's like, are you stupid or something?
Yeah, are you stupid or something?
And he's like,
Chrissy,
did he just call me stupid? Lock the door. And then he's like, Chris DiStefano gets up, locks the door, and then he's like, all right, here's what's going to happen. He's like, two things. Either I'm going to come over there, I'm going to break both your kneecaps. Now, I know that sounds like it's a line from a movie, but understand this. They write those characters about me. So I'm going to break both your kneecaps. I'll go to jail for the rest of my life. That's fine, because it's better than having to explain to his mother that he got kicked out of school for the rest of my life. So take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
I cannot imagine, dude. I like... Ugh.
Yeah, like, and he says, like, when he calls him stupid and they lock the door, he's like, listen, because now you embarrass me in front of my family. So now
you embarrass me in front of my family, so here's what's going to happen. Like, it really is crazy.
I can't even believe stuff like that is real.
It's
like,
so wild listening to...
Could you imagine being that principal and being
like...
Someone being like, you either don't expel my kid or I destroy you.
Yeah.
Like...
It would be funny because for me, it would instantly just be like, he gives me the two, he locks the door. As soon as he locks the door, I go, did I say expulsion? That's so weird. My mistake. I fucked up. What I meant was...
Detention for a day.
Detention. Honor roll. I'll give him honor roll. I don't give a fuck. Please don't hurt my knees.
I know.
Please.
That's exactly what I would have done.
Please don't hurt my knees.
Yeah. It's so... Oh my God. I heard that... I listened to him tell that story and I'm like, I can't even believe that shit is real. Like...
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
And his dad was like in and out of prison, so like he would have done it.
Oh, no doubt.
Like...
No doubt. He's like still in prison. Isn't he in prison now?
No, he's out now.
Oh,
he was just
That's
in a,
right.
He was
He's
just
been
in a
episodes.
podcast.
Yeah.
Where they filmed, I think, at Chris's house, and his dad is just sitting in the kitchen in the background, like eating, just watching,
eating gabagool.
The podcast.
Speaking of which, I do want to watch The Sopranos. It's on my list.
Aaron Blood watched it. I think.
I need to get access to HBO.
We just have to figure out how to log on to Daddy's HBO.
He changes the password so often because he's so afraid of scammers. Dad, I love you so much. This is not a slight. But it does change all the time. I get logged out all the time.
Oh.
And then you have to text him. And then
the thing with the texting is hard.
He gets texted a code. And then by the time he texts it to me, I punch it in. And he goes, no, not that code. Sorry, wrong code. This code. And then I'm just like, never mind. But I also think Mom has access to it too. I think it like comes with her phone account.
Oh, we'll have to figure that out.
It's just like a thing.
I'm going to the AT&T store next week. We'll figure it out. Okay.
Hubie Halloween.
The vibe that this movie was giving is that the same vibe of that animated Christmas Hanukkah movie where Adam Sandler plays a voice.
8 Crazy Nights.
It was that energy that I was getting. Like, it's a holiday movie, but it's got crazy Adam Sandler energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I felt like it had
tamer,
I felt like it had a lot of boy jokes.
I could see that. Yeah, for sure.
Like, jokes.
Yeah, a lot of yucks. Yeah, because there's like funny scenes with like the grandma and her older friend. They bought a bunch of shirts from the thrift store, and every single one has just like the dirtiest sayings on it. So you just see this like 70, 80-year-old woman wearing a shirt that says, "It ain't gonna lick itself," or something.
Yeah,
or kayaking gets me wet. It's just like the dumbest shirt.
The whole movie, he thinks that boner means mistake, so he just keeps repeating the word over and over again, and you're like, oh my god.
Cause she's wearing a shirt that says boner donor, and she's like, I think it means mistake. So it's just like I donate mistakes. So then, throughout the whole movie, he's like, guys, I made a big boner. Yeah. Listen, I wish I could take that boner back, but I can't. And it's just like, laughing at Jesus.
Him. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. His dumb boy humor.
There's a lot of dumb boy humor. No. I did like the thing where the two kids go into the corn maze to tell him that they were pulling a prank, because I thought that girl was going to be a mean girl, but she ended up not being a mean girl.
Oh yes,
which I appreciated.
She was really nice. Yeah.
And I like that he says, "Oh, my mom talked about you. She said you were really nice," and he's like, "I am nice. That's why I'm not going to tell her that you're here and not home watching your sisters."
Yeah.
And then he says, "And I'll let you go. I'll give you a head start in the name of romance," which I think is cute. That was like a really cute, not like haha scene.
Yeah.
It was just sweet.
He is really sweet.
Yeah.
He's just like such a nice guy throughout the whole thing. Yeah. It is like a little implausible that like the entire town shits on this guy.
Yeah.
And it's just like for no reason other than like he's a little doofy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
but he reminds me of like the kid you hated in high school because he was like the hall monitor.
I mean,
it's like that
when he
vibe.
Overdoes it.
Yeah, like when he goes to the teen party and he's like breaking up kids making out. He dumps the girl's beer on the floor. Like
it's at a certain point you're like, what?
You could tell why they're annoyed with him, but like everyone like playing mean, horrible pranks is like
a little much.
Yeah, it's a little much. The rest of this is spoilers if you're ever intending to watch this. I wrote the Walter Lambert thing is throwing me off because they introduce him very early. And you're kind of like, who is he? Like, is he the escaped mental patient? Is he the killer? Is he the kidnapper? Like, what is he? And then I wrote, was not expecting the escaped mental person and Steve Buscemi, Walter Lambert, to just turn themselves in.
Yeah.
Like, it was very, like, innocent. Like, I escaped to go get my friend and bring us both back.
Yeah.
Not expecting it.
Yep.
Totally threw me for a loop.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like he slowly throughout the movie, Steve Buscemi is showing signs of being a werewolf.
Yeah.
Like he's bordering up his own house. He's like, listen, Hubie, if you hear like strange noises or anything, like don't come around. It's for your own good. But of course he does go around and he sees like a bunch of cans of dog food and like weird dog things. And he's like, what is going on? And then Steve Buscemi gradually throughout the movie gets like more and more hair on his arms and stuff, and like he's howling at the moon and like all this crazy werewolf stereotypical behavior. And then you find out that he is also an escaped patient of a mental institute, and his whole shtick is that he thinks he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
And it's like he's actually not a werewolf.
And you think that the other escaped mental patient is going to be a bigger deal because in the beginning they say to the cop, like the guy who calls him, he's like, didn't you testify against him in court and now he's released? Like, just wanted to give you a heads up. And you're like, whoa, he's gonna come for that guy.
And then he puts on a pig mask, which is like very scary.
Very scary.
And he like shows up randomly and it's just like, very, very creepy.
Yeah. But it turns out fine. I wrote who kidnapped Landolpha, who's Ray Liotta. Because I didn't understand. And then I wrote Shaq, my arch nemesis. And then I wrote, it smells so bad like cat food where I'm sitting because I was sitting next to, and if I get even an inch closer to the cat tower, it smells like cat food. And then I wrote, I was surprised about the mom. Like, I didn't think the mom was going to be involved in the plot, like at all. When they say like, oh, the killers, because I was really convinced when they imply that it's the girl, Violet, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, she dedicated the song to him on the radio. Like, she knows that everyone bullies him, so she's protecting him. It's probably her.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, the killer's phone is at your house. And I'm like, okay. And then once he, like, walked into the house, it was kind of like, oh, it's the mom, probably. Like,
yeah.
That's crazy. But the ending was cute. And then she tries to kill them all, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, and then she just runs away.
Yeah.
She never gets caught.
Yeah, which is good because
and
she's
then
so cute.
They do a cute little, like, flash forward a year, and Hubie is together
really
with his beloved.
Yeah.
What is the actress's name?
Julie
Bowen.
Bowen, yeah.
Oh my God, I love her.
Yeah.
I've always been obsessed with her ever since. I mean, like, I always thought she was very pretty in Happy Gilmore, but because she's also in Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler as love interests. But really, like, man, her as Claire on Modern Family, I mean, she's hot. I apologize to no one. She is just beautiful.
She is.
So
beautiful.
Like, whatever. And she's very funny. Like, I've seen her in interviews and stuff. She's very funny and
she seems like a catch.
Pretty and funny. Get out of town. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a cute movie.
Yeah, it is cute.
Do you give it a ranking? Can you think of a ranking?
I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. And it's not a slight to the movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just very much not my type of humor. It felt very boy humor. And
you hated it. It's fine.
Let's
move on.
I did hate it.
Let's move on. You're hurting my feelings.
I didn't. I have a lot of fun facts that make me like the movie more.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I'll roll through a couple. This is the 5th Adam Sandler movie where his love interest has the initials VV. The other films are Billy Madison, Veronica Vaughn, Happy Gilmore, Virginia Bennett, The Waterboy, Vicky Valancourt, and Little Nicky, Valerie Varon.
Oh, Little Nicky, talk about a funny voice.
Yeah, I hate it so much.
That one, I did not like that movie. I mean, there's like one or two funny scenes, and then it's like, okay.
On October 15th, 2020, Boston TV station WHDH announced that reporter Elena Pinto had been fired after appearing in this film as a news reporter because it violated her exclusive contract with the station.
What? That's so stupid.
Crazy.
I hate businesses and bosses. Oh my God. That's so dumb.
Adam Sandler's, the two girls are both his real daughters.
Oh, you know what? They do look very familiar now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Because I know
Cookie
that
and Danielle are both his real daughters.
That's super cute.
And the news reporter at the end, I don't know if she appears before that, but one of the news reporters is his real wife.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I know that the son, the one who dressed up like Tin Man and everything like that, that's Noah Schnapp.
Yeah.
From Stranger Things.
Oh. I did not know what he was from.
Yeah. He plays a coconut head.
Coconut head?
Not literally. He has a coconut head haircut
in
the first and second Stranger Things. And then it doesn't really get better in the third and fourth seasons.
And then
give that boy a normal haircut, please, for the love of God.
I feel that. A lot of boys need normal haircuts. And then the last thing, this is kind of sad, but I thought it was really sweet. Cameron Boyce, the actor, he was from
yes, I know this.
Grown Ups 2, The Descendants, and Jesse.
Yeah.
He was going to appear in the movie before he unfortunately passed away July 6th, 2019. Other people that are in the movie that he worked with are Peyton List and Karen Brar from Disney Channel's Jessie, as well as people he worked with from Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2.
Yeah.
The movie is dedicated to him, which I think is like really
super, super cute. Yeah, I remember that.
So, yeah, I just thought it was really
because the one kid who's the bully who gets kidnapped first, who dresses up like Freddie Mercury, he's in Jessie with him.
Oh, okay.
And then
that's
so is the girl who's dressed up in the haunted house who grabs his ankle.
Yeah.
She's also in Jessie.
Oh, okay.
And I only know that because
You went to Aunt Lori's and they watched Jessie all the time?
I used to hang out at Aunt Lori's a lot, and her kids were obsessed with Jessie. And it just so happens to be the name that my family calls me, so it was a whole thing.
Anyway, it was a cute movie. It was. It really was. It's just not the type of comedy that I prefer. But it was cute. It was a cute movie.
Good. Okay, so Raven had me watch Practical Magic. This movie came out in 1998. It is very cute and fun. Let's get into it. Here's quite a long synopsis, but regardless. Sisters Sally Owens and Jillian Owens have a special bond with each other despite being different in personality and outlook. Having grown up with their spinster Aunt Frances and Aunt Jet in the longtime Owens family house on an island off the coast of Massachusetts following the death of their father and then their mother, they are the latest in a long line of witches. Rumors of the Owens women being witches have existed for generations in the small, close-minded town in which they live, despite there being no hard evidence. The Owens women are also under a curse that any man who they fall in love with is doomed. With this experience, extroverted Jillian, who is played by Nicole Kidman, decides to leave the island to live life to the fullest, in the process falling for Jimmy Engelov, a Bulgarian who grew up near Transylvania. More introspective Sally, played by Sandra Bullock, who has sworn off the use of magic except in its most practical sense, has taken measures not to fall in love because of the curse, but ends up falling for and marrying Michael, a local merchant. The two end up having 2 daughters of their own. The curse works its way into Jillian's and Sally's lives in different ways. The outcomes of the curse on their collective lives become more complicated with the arrival into town of Tucson police detective Gary Hallett, a wild last name. I just thought that was so interesting. Who chose that last name? I'll tell you who in a second. Whose arrival is not by accident and involves more than just his stated professional purpose. So yeah, it's a really cute story. I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot, actually.
It's really cute.
It is actually based off of a 1995 novel by Alice Hoffman.
Alice Hoffman also wrote
The Girl with Stripe Case. No, I'm kidding.
The movie with JoJo where they're mermaids. Aquamarine.
Oh no. That one?
No.
Oh, I'm thinking H2O.
Yeah. Aquamarine is a movie with JoJo and Emma Roberts and another girl whose name I don't know. But
good.
Also written by Emma Hoffman. Not Emma Hoffman, Alice Hoffman.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Well, I was a big fan. I thought it was very cute and fun. It's interesting. So the very beginning of the movie has like these really quick flashes. We do a really long time flashback starting with a beautiful woman who ends up being like the matriarch, the beginning of this line of Owens women. Stunning. Who's stunning. And she is about to be hanged for witchcraft, and it's insane. It feels very Salem-y, but it's in Massachusetts. I mean, Salem's in Massachusetts, but it feels very like coastline and everything like that. And she jumps off the deck in order for the thing to catch, but she breaks it and whatever, and everyone runs away and stuff. And then she, falls in love and is pregnant and is like waiting for the man who, the father, to come and be with her, but he never comes. And then she's so overwhelmed with grief and like heartache that she decides that I would rather be without love than to have this thing. And over time it turned into a curse. So like it was like any time that a man that an Owens fell in love with a man and the man fell in love with her, then what would happen is there would be this random ass beetle and the beetle would make a weird chirping noise, and that would mean like, heads up, your husband's about to die. And it's crazy because Evan Rachel Wood is in it, and she plays the redhead mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was her. I love Evan Rachel Wood.
And so do I. Yeah, they're amazing. I really like them in Westworld. But they and True Blood. I like them in both those roles. But it was just really, really cute. And then it shows Sally and Jillian as their little kids, and they are very different because Sally, again, Sandy Bullock, is very much like, I don't want to fall in love because I don't want all the heartache and all the rigmarole that comes with it and yada, yada, yada. So she casts this spell so that she's like a little bit more powerful with the magic. Like she's a little bit more attuned to it. And she casts this spell asking for a really specific type of man in the hopes that like this type of man is so unique that he doesn't exist. And therefore will never fall in love and it won't be an issue. And then like young Jillian is like, I can't wait to fall in love and all this stuff, which is like such an interesting thing. I mean, it comes down to like the ants. I don't know if they're willfully ignorant or what their deal is, but they're like, oh, that curse doesn't exist. And it's like, how many men have to die with the beetle chirping before you're like, maybe it does. Yeah. Also, magic exists because we're witches. So that was a little confusing, but it was like,
they're cute though.
They're so cute.
The one ant is Rizzo from Grease, which is why we brought it up before.
Exactly. That's what that was the connection to Grease all along. Because it's obviously Sandy Bullock is playing Sally Owens, Nicole Kidman as Jillian Owens, and then the two aunts. That's how they say it. I say aunt.
Me too.
But which is like such an interesting thing. If you're from Massachusetts or New England, do you say aunt or aunt? Because I feel like you probably say aunt.
Aunt, yeah.
The only people, I don't know a ton of people who say aunt, and most of them are like Mason-Dixon line or below.
Yeah.
Like Southern they're from the aunt. South. Like in Maryland, a lot of people said aunt. Like people who are from Maryland.
It feels unnatural for my mouth.
I don't like it. Yeah. But yeah, Anne Francis is played by Stockard Channing, who is Rizzo. And then Aunt Jet is played by Diane Weist.
I love the name Jet.
Weist infection? Is that a joke that someone has made before?
It's horrible.
Oh, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That was where that joke came from. So stupid. I'm so sorry. But they're both brilliant. They do such a good job of playing those kind of like old matriarchal figures in the family. One being more like matronly and more like sweet and kind, and the other one being a little more sassy. Like they do such a good job of playing those two roles. It's amazing. I thought it was bold of them to be like, you made a mess that involves a dead body and stuff, figure it out, and they just leave. I thought that was a bold choice.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the movie is like that, right? And like the synopsis says, Nicole Kidman's character like leaves the island. She's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I found a man that I love. I'm gonna go off the island and I'm gonna chill with him, whatever. And she leaves, and Sandra Bullock stays, and she like I said, doesn't want love or anything. But then she falls in love with this guy, this produce guy, very Sookie and what's his name from Gilmore Girls?
Jackson.
That's what I thought of. Every time he was like rolling a thing of produce, I was like, that's the produce man. Yep. But they fall in love and they have 2 kids, and it does like some quick flashes because like they're like 1 second we're in like the 1600s or whenever the Salem witch trials were, which not that long ago actually. It's like the 1800s, I think, but whatever. And then we go to Evan and Rachel Wood, and then we go to them as kids, and then we go to them as adults, and then we go, they're splitting up because Jillian is going on her own, and then we go to her meeting a man and being like, I love this guy, and then being like, 3 years later, I have 2 kids and we're married, and it's just so there's a lot of jumps early in the movie, so like, you have to kind of
it brings you up to speed.
It does,
really
and
fast.
A lot of that stuff is important, but also it can feel very like I'm not getting grounded into the movie because so much is happening so quickly. Fair. But you have to get used to that. But because once that happens and we bring it back up to like where the story really like goes on in a normal time setting, then it is much easier. Yeah. But her husband dies, unfortunately, and that death, I mean, I understand it being like a curse and like whatever. I was not a fan of that just because it was like he's in the middle of the road. People are yelling like, Michael! And he like has his produce thing and he turns and it's just a bunch of cyclists. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not saying you can't necessarily die by getting trampled by cyclists. Yeah. Like, of course you can. But also like, none of them hit him. They all go around him. And then he's like, the most stereotypical thing from a movie, just him being like,
yeah.
Beep, beep.
Yeah.
Truck.
And then he gets hit
by a truck. They do not the best job. They as in like the director or the editors or whatever. They don't do the best job because when you see the road with the bicyclists, it is clear. Mm-hmm. There's no one else on the road. So the idea that this truck just like comes out of nowhere, like I understand it's a curse, but it was just a little silly. Mm-hmm. I'm all about like even when magic and fantasy exist, it doesn't mean that there's not rules.
Yeah.
And not like physics.
Yeah.
So like even though magic exists and you can do cool things, doesn't mean that like, I don't know, it just seems a little silly to me. I was like, ugh, here we go. But of course he's going to die because she saw the beetle and like, I get it. Whatever.
It is really sad when she goes and she's like yelling at the ants to bring him back.
Because that's what happens next. Yeah, she goes into the ants and she brings out this old magic book and she's like, bring him back. I know you can, blah, blah. And they're like, we can't do that. And they're like, they said that we won't do that. Mm-hmm. And she's like, but you can. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, but he won't come back as himself. He'll come back as something darker and like not good. Mm-hmm. And eventually she comes to peace with that because there's another time jump. And then the story takes a wild turn. So like we've already met Jillian's current love interest. This dude named Jimmy Angelov, a Bulgarian from Transylvania. Which is like, honestly,
big vampire vibes.
Dude, here's what I was thinking, and I didn't want to say it out loud because I didn't want your lack of a poker face to give it away.
Okay.
I wanted to be like, oh, he's a witch hunter, or he's a vampire, or something like that. Like he comes from the line of Van Helsing, and he's here to kill witches.
That's the vibe.
Or something like that. That is not it at all. He's just like a normal, disgusting dude who
happens
like,
to be from Bulgaria.
Who's like pretty handsome, and then also like a total creep.
Yeah.
And later you find out a murderer.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's all about him. They're all about each other. Nicole Kidman and this dude are totally into each other. But then he starts getting violent. He hits her in the face and all this different stuff, right? So she calls Sandra Bullock and is like, I need your help. Please help me. But we don't really find out what's going on until Sandra Bullock flies out. Ants are watching the kids. Flies out. She goes into a hotel room and he's a super bad guy and everything. And they're like running away. But then there's a blood moon and the moon is red. So Nicole Kidman's like, I got to get my tiger's eye, my special charm. Which, again, magic exists in this world. So I'm going to
give it a pass.
Keep my eye rolls to myself.
Yeah.
So she goes into his car to get it, and then he comes out of nowhere with a gun, and he's like, "Get in the car. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be my wife. I love you so much. I love you so much. I'm gonna kill you. I love you so much." And then Sandra Bullock's like, "What's going on? Hey, Jilly, Jilly." And then just him being like, "I'll kill your sister. Get in the car and drive." So then, boom, they're both kidnapped. He's disgusting and drinking and all this stuff. And then they slip him belladonna. And Sandra Bullock accidentally overdoses him. Which, like, no love lost there. I mean, I feel nothing for this man. I'm like,
I like the scene, though, where he goes to, like, brand her with the ring. And Sandy Bullock, like, flips out and, like, starts like attacking him, and he's like, "Watch the road," and she's like freaking out, and then that's when she steals his alcohol bottle. She's like, "Give me that!"
Oh, it's so seamless.
Yeah,
it's
like good,
really clever way
that he doesn't even notice.
Because I was curious of like, how is she gonna do that?
Yeah,
very interesting.
It's good,
but she does. Yeah, she does it really well. So anyway, he overdoses and dies. Because of technically poisoning.
Mm-hmm. And she attacks him when he tries to choke her.
Yeah, he's still bad. Like even on his way out, he's a terrible person who's like straight up trying to murder her and do terrible things. But anyway, he dies, right? So then they're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I can't believe this happened. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I can't go to jail. I have kids. And then they start driving in his car with his dead body back to their house in Massachusetts from Arizona. So what the hell are you thinking? That's crazy.
Very
it has Arizona
not well
plates.
thought out at all.
Yeah. Did they get rid of the car? No. Did they get rid of the body? No. What do they do? We got to bring this man back to life. We have to use the magic that we didn't use on the nice husband. We're going to use this magic to bring back a terrible person. Hey, don't worry. He'll come back as someone dark and worse than ever. Oh, what if he already was dark and terrible? Probably even worse. Let's bring him back to life. So they bring him back to life. Part of the spell is to stab him in the eye with a needle. Thank gosh that doesn't happen in the movie because that would have thrown. I don't like that kind of stuff. And then they do the spell. They bring him back to life. What is the first thing he tries to do? Oh, that's right, kill her. He tries to kill her immediately, and Sandra Bullock takes a cast iron pan and kills him a second time. Then they're like, you know what? Let's just bury him. Where should we bury him? I don't know. Our backyard.
Yeah.
Our backyard. But let's hold on to the car because it's nice having a car. Because they still have the car. Because then eventually a detective from Tucson comes in to investigate, and he's like, have you guys seen him? And they're like, no, we haven't seen him in 3 days. He hit me in the face, and I haven't seen him since because I hate him. Oh, really? Whose car is in the driveway? Mine. Cool, because I ran the plates, you dumb.
They're from Arizona, and they belong to him.
I ran the plates, you dumb.
Yeah.
And then Sandra Bullock has this weird thing where she can't lie to him, so she immediately is like, we stole the car, it's a crime. Which is really funny, but also like cute because of like the underlying thing. And then like it all comes to a head when like we find out eventually that there's like this whole thing with like the flashback to young Sally making this wish of the perfect man because it's so unrealistic that it could never happen. And
he's got one green eye and one blue eye, and his favorite shape is a star, and he can
flip pancakes and he rides pony backwards. Yeah, and all this. He can ride a pony backwards and all this different stuff. And then it turns out this guy hits all of the things.
It's all the marks.
He's got his badge that's a
star shape.
That's a star shape, which is like
a sheriff.
Sheriff. Yeah, I mean, he's from Arizona, I guess, but like and he flips pancakes that are shaped like cactuses, cacti, whatever. Yeah. And he's from Arizona. He used to ride horses backwards and all this different stuff. And like, there's even like a little flashback later on of him as a little boy sitting on a pony, sitting backwards. The pony has a weird like discoloration in its hair or fur that is in the shape of a star, and the same flower petals that shoot off when she casts a spell fall on him, and that was really cute. Because he's like, I wished for you too.
Yeah, so
because
cute.
They're like we can't be together because of the curse and all this stuff, and he's like, you know, curses only have power if you believe in them, and I don't.
Yeah, it's so good.
But yeah, long story short, they get together, of course, and like it's beautiful, and but here's the thing. This dude that they killed twice and buried in the ground, he's not done. Jimmy, he's back, baby. Jimmy, the Bulgarian. Jimmy the Bulgarian is back. And he comes back as like a spirit, and then he's like inhabiting. They don't really explain how that's
all happens. They say is like the one aunt says like he squatted in her like a toad or something. Like,
yeah, because he's like
trapped inside Jillian.
He's like possessing her body. It's like why you would need an exorcism. Yeah. He's like inside of Nicole Kidman's body and everything, and wants to like bring her to hell with him because he's like so obsessed with her. And so they have to perform like this crazy magic, right? But it needs a coven, it needs a group of witches. We don't have enough. We need at least 9, 12 would be better. Witches. That's a line for the movie.
It is, yeah.
But so they're like, who are we gonna call? Flashback again to Sandra Bullock has recently, like I said, they're witches, and like the town doesn't like witches, and they're just like very silly, and everyone calls them witches and like avoids them or whatever. And Sandra Bullock's character is now the head of, like, this week or this month, she's the head of the phone call tree thing of like
her
if there's an emergency. Yeah, like in the PTA kind of thing. Like if there's an emergency, the head of the tree calls all the different people and whatever, right? So she starts calling all of the moms on the list and stuff, and she's going, hey, you know how like everyone hates me in town because they think I'm a witch? Well, I'm a witch and I need your help to do magic with me. And as unrealistic as it is that the entire town just goes, all right, so we have hated her and her entire family. Her whole genetic line, we've hated them forever. But not only do I accept that she's a witch and I'm like cool with her now, I'm going to go help her do a spell.
Yeah.
Like,
her sister was in a bad relationship. We have to take care of this.
That's right. The idea that these like ignorant, closed-minded people, when they hear that a woman is being abused by a man, they put their prejudices aside
and they all come together.
And they stand for what's right. And they come together. They bring their brooms, which are all just like household brooms, which is really funny. And they stand in a circle. And at first they try and it like doesn't work and she almost dies and it's like very scary and sad. Yeah. But then like Sandra Bullock is like, wait, I figured it out. Grab hands again. But then they do this thing where like there's like quick flashes of flashbacks of the sisterly bond, but then interspersed with flashes of like all the women holding hands. And so it'll be like koosh, koosh, with like the flashbacks, and
so
it's like
good.
the music is intense, and it was so intense. And I was sitting, luckily you were sitting in a way where you couldn't see me, but I was doing one of these faces. Or I was just like, oh god, I hope it works. And it was just so emotional and so good. I loved it so much. So yeah,
I like the part where that part works, like this when they do the second try at exorcising Jillian, and then the like spirit of Jimmy is like in ashes, like up on the roof, and then like all the ashes are falling, and they have to like sweep him out into the yard. It's like ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Yeah, and so he like becomes. And dust. They made this like special thing they have to pour over him, his gravesite, to keep his soul in the grave. But they have to sweep him out, sweep all the ashes out of the house. And like all the women, like the normal not witch women, are one of them is like, all right, girls, let's clean house. And then they all get their brooms and they're all sweeping, and it's just so cute.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they get rid of Jimmy, and then it's like really cute at the end. They like flash forward to Halloween when everyone is like rallying around them, and they do the cute thing where they get dressed up as witches and they jump off of their roof with little umbrellas, like, float down like Mary Poppins style, kind of. Yeah, because there's like the rumors going around that they like eat placentas and do all these crazy things. They turn into cats, and the big one that people would spread is that they every Halloween they fly off their roof. So it was just like a silly little thing. But anyway, it was really cute and really good, and I loved it so much. End with the quote that she says at the end.
While you're looking for it, I'm going to say a quote really quick.
Okay.
There's a part, and it's so poetic that it's like so clearly scripted from the book, but it's still very cute and everything. And like I wrote it down because I'm genuinely like, as somebody who plays D&D, I was like, this is a cheesy ass line that I can use in a D&D game. And there's like romance. I like romance in my D&D game sometimes. If a player has like consent and it's like a cool thing, because I have other players who are like genuinely like not into it. So it's like, okay, no big deal. But she's talking, and it's like a sad thing that she's saying, so it's not necessarily, but it could be like, you could spin it for romance. But anyway, she's writing a letter to Jillian about her husband who passed away earlier in the movie. And she says, sometimes I feel like there's a hole inside of me, an emptiness that at times seems to burn. I think if you lifted my heart to your ear, you could probably hear the ocean.
It's poetic.
I love that.
I know. That's Alice Hoffman for you.
I wrote that line down perfectly.
It's good.
Because I was like, I'm going to use that.
My favorite line from the movie is at the very end. Sally says, quote, "There are some things I know for certain. Always throw spilled salt over your left shoulder. Keep rosemary by your garden gate. Plant lavender for luck. And fall in love whenever you can." End quote. And it's like so sweet.
It is sweet.
Yeah. Because
they do end up breaking the curse. That was another small thing I understand that I don't know. I'm sure the book does a better job. I understand a movie, you're taking a novel and you're like condensing it down. I get it. You have to cut things. But I didn't love that like the curse is such a big root of the story. And then it really is just an afterward thing. Like
it's broken, by the way.
They jump down from the thing and they're like, and then we just stopped believing in the curse and it didn't exist anymore. And you're like, that's
what?
it?
Yeah.
Plus,
what about Michael? He died.
How do you just stop believing in something that literally has killed dozens of men in your life? Like, how does that work? That's
they really don't touch on it.
That's so weird to me. That's like when you're playing in a fantasy D&D game and people are like, oh, I'm an atheist. And it's like, no, in this fantasy setting, like, gods exist.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a question of faith. Like, they're for real. Like, you've seen them do work.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like our world where it's like, okay, whatever, for interpretation or faith or whatever the fudge. But, like, I don't know. It was just, like, so interesting. I didn't love that it was such a minor thing.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
But so,
it's a great movie.
Overall, I would give this movie an 8.8. I loved it. I was really so into it. And it's crazy because I was looking up reviews and stuff like that just out of curiosity, not because I don't put any weight into here's what critics gave it, here's what audience gave it, blah, blah, blah. I find it interesting sometimes when I think it's interesting when there's a big disconnect. So like Rotten Tomatoes, I've already talked about my beef with them. They're not factual. Don't like take everything they say with a huge handful of salt over your left shoulder, rosemary by the gate. But 24% by critics, 73% by audience.
For Practical Magic?
For Practical Magic. So I just thought that was a little interesting.
I almost picked Paranorman, but Practical Magic.
I'm glad you picked this. I
wanted to keep Tony in my heart.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked this because I've genuinely enjoyed it. And Paranorman, I would have just been like, okay with.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more easygoing when it comes to movies. But
okay, picky. I don't know what to tell you.
You are. That's fine. That's your personal business.
Business.
Business. More like business. No, but yeah, I thought it was so cute. I was reading some like reviews from like just normal people, not critics, and some people were like, they 5 stars across the board because people were like it for the nostalgia.
Yeah.
And the only people that I saw giving it 2 or 3 stars were people who were like, I just saw this in 2021 and I think the nostalgia isn't there for me because I never saw it before and It wasn't there for me either because I just saw it for the first time today, 2023, October 28th. I loved it.
Yeah.
I think some people are just too harsh. I don't know. Maybe I'm just very easygoing.
I think they are too, yeah.
I'm very easygoing when it comes to movies. Like, it's hard for me to find a movie that I hate. Like, I wouldn't mind watching this on Halloween next year. Like, or, it's around Halloween next year. Yeah. Like, I would like to watch it again. I'd be fine with that. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun.
I'm very glad. I enjoyed it too. Thank you for Tony for the suggestion.
Thank you for Tony for the suggestion. I said that weird.
I did too.
But yeah, next time we'll be talking about something else, and I'm really curious to see.
Halloween next time.
No, it will not.
We will say goodbye to Pumpkinhead.
Oh no.
And Spider.
But
we do have Bird with Hat to bring in November.
For November and December. Yeah, he's very wintry. Yeah. And he has noodle legs. But anyway. Yeah, send us an email. We have our TikTok. We have Instagram. We have a YouTube. We have, obviously, the podcast and all those other different things. So that's Hessy and Maven. Most of the time, it's at one word. And then we do have an email address, hessyandmaven@gmail.com. Send us in trivia questions. That's a fun thing I've been trying to ask for from from people. Would love to have some cool trivia questions about movies and television. It can be anything like that. Ideally, it's a multiple choice with at least 3 options. And since I'll be the one who's normally checking those emails, I'll be giving those questions to Raven. But yeah, definitely send over emails with either trivia questions or recommendations for movies that we should watch or television shows we should try or topics that we should talk about. Like, I know we still have a lot of genres that we can get through. There's a lot of TV that we can talk about. There's so many different options. So definitely reach out to us. All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Hessy and Maven. Tune in next time where we'll talk about something else.
Bye. Bye. Happy Halloween. Bye. Happy Halloween. Bye.